Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the interview on Gabon 24. Some say the place of mother tongues in today's society matters a lot as we talk about entrepreneurship on a daily basis. Some don't see how their native language can benefit to the business environment, so they focus on learning foreign languages. The case of English. Are they right or wrong to do so? That is today's topic, the importance of English in business versus mother tongues. Our guest of today is Mr. Boris Nguema, graduate in English Studies and in business. He is trainer and entrepreneur. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one more time to the interview on Gabon 24. Sir, welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm pretty good too, thank you.
Nice to know that.
So let's, go straight. First question is, can you deeply introduce yourself to the viewers so that they can better know you?
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity of having me here.
All right.
And I congratulate you for the good job you're doing, guys, here in Gabon 24.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, a little bit about me. So let's say that from a professional standpoint, I define myself as a trainer and entrepreneur.
Okay.
I actually do a lot of other things that we're not going to have time to cover here. But from an educational standpoint, let's say that I was trained primarily in English studies.
Okay.
I then went on to study some business and business management, marketing, and some economics. And I consider myself as a graduate in English studies and business management.
Okay. So thanks a lot one more time for being here. So now, as long as you are an entrepreneur, do you agree with some of the people who say that succeeding, whether at school or in business, requires the person to first of all master its lesson mother tongue?
Okay. Yeah. I don't know if it directly applies to business as such, but as far as school is concerned and performing at school, I know that your knowledge of mother tongue is very important. What is mother tongue? Mother tongue is actually, to my understanding, the language through which the world is first introduced to you.
That's it, yeah, sure.
Okay, that's where you build your, during the formative years, where you build your understanding of the world, and this is due through the language of your mother or your father, that we call the mother tongue.
Yeah.
And you're going to stick with that language throughout your life, and most of the time that's going to be the reference, whether you try to apprehend the world and try to understand what is going on. That's the medium through which you're going to interpret the world. And the problem we're having, especially in Gabon, I think, is that for many of our youngsters, their mother tongue is actually another language. It's French. It's not. It's not actually their ethnic language.
I understand. Yeah.
And that can bring some confusion as they evolve in society and in the rest of the world. But I think definitely it's very important to know your mother tongue, and that will even help you better master other foreign languages.
Okay, all right, that's pretty good. So can you tell us a little bit what motivated you? Why are you now, why did you become an entrepreneur instead of being working as a civil servant? What happened?
First, because I love challenges.
Okay, so you mean when you're a civil servant, there's a challenge though, is that what you mean?
I think, no, the thing is there's challenges to being a civil servant.
Okay.
But the thing is, being a civil servant was so natural for me.
Okay.
Because that's what the bulk of the population getting out of UB universities do. Okay. Gabon has like a little bit more, 40,000 civil servants for 1 billion and I think 1.2 million inhabitants, and that's roughly, I think, 30% of the population, And if you compare with countries such as the US, it's only 15% of the population. Okay. Even Cameroon, I think, is less than 10 or around 15. So it means that in that kind of population, you expect most people to be entrepreneurs, trying on their own to make a living. And in my case, I think it was too easy to become an entrepreneur. I was in English studies. I could have been an English teacher. That was so easy because Gabon needs a lot of teachers, and everything was done so that we, coming from the English department, we become teachers. So that was the easier way. But I do love challenges, so I said to myself, I didn't want to be a teacher, not that way. but in a way that I would choose.
Okay.
But sorry to be long on that, but that's very important because I think there are a couple of things that we should change about our
mindset.
Yeah, mindset. When you graduate from university, you actually get hired either by the public sector,
okay,
the private sector, or by yourself.
Yep, sure.
Okay. In my case, I was first hired by the private sector.
Okay.
Okay, and then I later decided to be an entrepreneur and do my own business.
Okay.
That's all.
So do you consider your business successful, or what are the challenges you've been facing there?
Okay, the good thing is, for me, success is not an end in itself. Never tell to yourself that, never tell yourself that I'm already there.
Okay.
I've done it. So
never be satisfied at all.
Yeah, never be satisfied with what you get as actually in terms of business.
Okay.
Because there's always more to do. There's always more you have to push, okay? There are always people out there needing your solutions and so. So I don't consider myself successful in the sense that I don't have to do it or to force it all, but I just consider that I'm on the right track. I keep pushing, persevering, because actually these are some things that you will need in business: perseverance, vision, and determination.
So maybe the viewers really want to, they want to better understand what that business of yours is all about.
Okay. The good thing, let's say in terms of business, I'm a very, very versatile person. Okay. I would do a lot of things. For instance, what we're doing right now is that we're training people in English.
Okay.
We're training people in computer literacy, and we're training people in what we call 21st century professions and challenges. Okay. You know, a couple of...
So you're kind of empowering people.
Exactly. A couple of decades ago, you will be said illiterate if you were unable to read.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But today, you know, there's another paradigm. You know, if you're not able to use a computer, you're not even able to speak English.
Yeah, and then
you're going to have big challenges in this new world.
Okay, I understand. So how English is? I mean, the fact of you speaking English is useful in a business environment.
Yeah, you know, I remember we once, as young students, we once met someone from the U.S. Embassy, I think, but he was a Congolese working there, and he told him, and I know some of my friends will remember that, he told us English will take you places.
Okay.
I never forgot. I've never forgotten this. Let's say this saying, English will take you places, and that's literally what I've been doing.
Okay.
You know, I've been places. I won't say around the world, but I've been places. I've been to places. Even in Gabon, you know, I've discovered my own country thanks to English. Because almost a year, I was in charge of taking American citizens. Let's say,
you're like a tourist guide.
Yeah. Okay. It was more like an entrepreneurial job, but in the let's say, in the field of conservation, and we were touring Gabon, you know, discovering a lot of places that I didn't know before, and that was so amazing. And that's true that English is very important in your business environment, because that was part of my business doing that job.
So what I actually appreciate is you from your testimony. I mean, government is not to blame for the fact that you're not a civil servant at the moment. It was your own choice, if we better understand.
Exactly. You don't even have to blame the government. The government is unable.
On unemployment.
At the end, the government will always be unable to hire everybody. And I think, as far as I know, currently the government is not
Did you have any support to launch a business?
I didn't get you.
Did you have any support from anybody, maybe from any institution, to launch a business?
No, I didn't. But I think the government is always doing that kind of
that's why I'm
job,
asking the
and
question.
Training people. And no, I didn't have.
Because, you know, it's very difficult, it's very rare meeting people who have a positive testimony on government, let's say, support. You see what I mean?
Yeah, but that's because we were raised during, let's say, the 70s and 80s, where we had full of oil and a lot of things, where the government was the great provider of everything. And we were born and raised in that environment. Our parents, you know, passed over this kind of, let's say, mindset to us. But the truth is, the government can do it all. We always need some personal initiatives, and we do actually need personal entrepreneurship. We need entrepreneurship to make a country really, really effective.
So as long as you're here and you're living from that business of yours, I mean, the question is to know if you've had a kind of entrepreneurship education from your childhood, or you just, I mean, it's just happened to you.
Probably some influence from my environment.
Okay.
The first thing is that my father wasn't a civil servant.
Oh,
It was neither a, let's say, an entrepreneur. It was from the public sector, private sector, sorry. But still, he has that little, what we call little jobs, you know, do-it-yourself jobs that he will do, and he will gain money. He will earn a lot of money, far more than his own salary.
Okay.
And that's really influenced me.
It's kind of, okay, that's pretty good.
I was not ready to stand there and wait my salary every month. I've done that for 10 years.
Oh, that's quite interesting. So if I understand you encourage the viewers, I mean, most of young people to also undertake the way you do it.
Yeah, and that's a good trend currently in Gabon, where I see a lot of youngsters, a lot of young people coming out of school. They want to try it themselves in business.
So what makes your business, definitely, because we're moving toward the end of this TV show, what makes it unique? Because, you know, there are quite of trending scenarios here in the book. What makes your business unique?
Yeah. I watched that in one of your former, you know, TV programs here, where you were asking, you know, a lot of people think that you can only speak English if you go abroad.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I was trained here in Gabon, 100%. I've never been to any English-speaking country. Good. I was trained here, and I do have people coming from abroad, especially as I work with Americans. You ask me, Boris, have you been to the States, or have you been to any English-speaking country? How do you speak English?
I'll come to you.
and I was just saying, no, I've learned my English here. And that's what we're trying to do. That's the value proposal of our business. We're trying to tell people it is possible. Here in Gabon, you don't have to go abroad. If you can't afford it, you can learn English here, be fluent here. That's possible.
So now, maybe we're going to talk about your perspectives for this year.
Yeah, I told you that a while ago. I told you that I was very versatile in business, meaning that I like trying myself at a lot of different things.
Sure.
Currently, we're trying to develop a tourism aspect of our business.
Oh, very good.
And so I see ourselves as a group as we grow up and doing different, you know, activities in different industries. And so it's still pretty new, pretty hard, pretty tough, but I think maybe in 3 years, I don't know, I definitely get it.
All right, we just want to thank you for accepting the invitation on Gabon 24.
It was a real pleasure. You know, we don't have much opportunity. We don't have a lot of occasions where we can practice in English. And it's a challenge to maintain your English. It's one thing to acquire the knowledge of English, is another to maintain it. Okay.
Well, that's pretty good. So, sir, we've come to the end of the interview on Gabon 24. Thank you for accepting our invitation. I remind that you are Mr. Boris Nguema, graduate in English Studies and in business. You are a trained entrepreneur. Today, we talk about the importance of English in business versus the use of our mother tongues. Thanks a lot for following us, ladies and gentlemen. Keep watching us on our major social networks, such as Facebook, Twitter, and streaming on YouTube. Thank you very much. Goodbye and see you next time.